Mr. President, good to see you.
Thank you.
What a week this has been.
It's been a great week. We have accomplished a lot.
Well, that's what I want. First, I got some time to talk with you earlier in the week in the Oval Office. And the thing that really stood out to me is you seem to be enjoying yourself and very focused on all the promises you made in the campaign. Is it your intention to keep every promise?
Well, I'm going to keep as many as I can. You know, politics is tough. Sometimes you make a promise and for some reason you can't because you have opposition on the other side that raises their hand and they make it impossible. But I'm going to keep a lot of them, and I've kept a lot of them already. Everyone's talking about it. And we're going to do things that I said we were going to do. And we're going to take care of a lot of people that were mistreated by government for many, many years. And that's really how I won the election in the first place, Sean. You know that better than probably anybody.
Let's talk a little bit about the executive orders on Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen, and 120 ban. That goes to the promise of extreme vetting.
Totally extreme. And beyond just those countries, we're going to have extreme vetting. We're going to have extreme vetting for people coming into our country, and if we think there's a problem, it's not going to be so easy for people to come in anymore. You look at what's gone on. I mean, we could just go one after another, but then you go to other countries, and you look at Nice, and you look at different places all over Europe, and you look at what's happening with Germany. It's a mess. The crime is incredible. And we're just not going to let that happen here.
Would it be gambling if at some point when there is a procedure in place, if you can't ascertain whether or not somebody's been radicalized or not, or if radical groups actually train some of their soldiers to say the right things to get in, but if you can't positively ascertain they're safe and find out what's in their heart, does that mean no-go? You won't gamble?
Well, I tell you what, you used the right word, gamble. We don't want to have gambles. Our country has a lot of problems, well beyond this. And I found out a lot over the last week. I mean, we have serious difficulties. We don't need another difficulty. Right now, the FBI has over 1,000 investigations going on, 1,000 on terrorism.
In all 50 states.
All over the place. And these are people that we let in. We don't need this, all right? We don't need this. Some people have come in with evil intentions, and, you know, most haven't, I guess. But we can't take chances. You know, the word gamble is an appropriate word. It's a big gamble. You're throwing something up. Look, I love this country. You love this country. We can't let this continue to happen. We've taken in tens of thousands of people. We know nothing about them. They can say they vet them. They didn't vet them. They have no papers. How can you vet somebody when you don't know anything about them and you have no papers? How do you vet them? You can't. On your show, I've seen that they have FBI agents. They have all these people that you have as experts. They say it's impossible to vet them. I don't have to see that to know that they're right. So we have people in this country that will cause problems. We're not going to have any more. And we're going to be very tough and very, very vigilant.
You do not need Congress now as it relates to building the wall. And you said in an interview last night that you plan to do this expeditiously.
Right.
That's about 700 miles of fencing, other measures as well. Do you think you'll need more than that? Will you have to go to Congress to get their support for?
I don't think we're going to need too much. Look, the wall is necessary. That's not just politics. And yet it is good for the heart of the nation in a certain way because people want protection. And a wall protects. All you have to do is ask Israel. They were having a total disaster coming across, and they had a wall. It's 99.9% stoppage. A proper wall, not a wall that's this high like they have now. They have little toy walls. I don't know why they even wasted their time. If you ever saw where they build a little ramp over the wall, I don't even know why they build a ramp. It's cheaper to knock it over.
You're talking about a real wall, impenetrable.
I'm talking about a real wall. I'm talking about a wall that's got to be, like, serious. And even that, of course, you'll have people violate it, but we'll have people waiting for them when they do. We have a great man, General Kelly, who just got approved very quickly by the Senate, recommended highly by General Mattis and others. And he's going to be taking very good care of us, Homeland Security. He's going to be taking very, very good care of us. And, you know, when he was named, he didn't even give an order yet. And all of a sudden, the borders started tightening up. You saw that. It was on a lot of different shows. They talked about the borders tightening up just by naming General Kelly.
Let me go to a big decision you're going to make next week. You've announced on Thursday you will make your Supreme Court choice
Yes.
announcement. 2 questions on that. One, will it be from the list that you gave out during the campaign?
The answer is yes.
Will it be an originalist?
I don't want to say that. You're going to see on Thursday.
Have you made your decision?
I have made my decision pretty much in my mind, yes.
Next
now, I mean,
question.
it's subject to change at the last moment, but I think this will be a great choice.
Chuck Schumer, others threatening, we've never had a Supreme Court justice filibustered, but there's a chance that might happen.
Hey,
if that
whatever
happens,
happens.
would you want Mitch McConnell to use the nuclear option?
Yes, I would.
You would?
I would.
Had you talked to him about
look,
it?
We have obstructionists. These are people that don't want to. I almost think they have what they did to Jeff Sessions, who's a great man and a wonderful man, and then they delayed it another week because they have a 1-week delay option. That's not fair to a man. Other people are delayed. Look at Pompeo for CIA. This is a great choice. Everybody agrees. And they delayed him a number of days also, even though he was fully approved and voted on by, you know, I mean, very, very great choice. And that, why are they doing that? They're obstructionists. I'll tell you what, they're obstructionists. I go to a meeting with them that's supposed to be a very quiet meeting, nobody talking outside of the meeting. They leave the meeting and they have a news conference about what I said. They're talking to the cameras about exactly what I said at the meeting, which is fine, because I say things that I don't mind going out because I assume they're going to do that. But the deal was we wouldn't talk to the press. And they go out and they talk to the press.
Leaking in Washington, that's a shock.
No, but I mean, they talk to the press like 15 feet away from the door. It's not like they called up when they got home.
Right.
So look, these are obstructionists, and that's fine.
Let me ask you, I don't remember you saying this in the campaign, and I was on the road with you quite a bit, and we did a lot of town halls together, but you're now talking about a 10% reduction in spending. In other words, eliminating baseline budgeting, a 20% reduction in the government workforce. How important is a balanced budget to you, and were you surprised Republicans before you got here raised the debt ceiling $9.7 trillion?
So a balanced budget is fine, but sometimes you have to fuel the well in order to really get the economy going. And we have to take care of our military. Our military is more important to me than a balanced budget, because we'll get there with a balanced budget. But we have a military that's really depleted. And I'm negotiating the price of airplanes. Can you believe this? But I understand airplanes.
I heard you got the price down quite a bit already.
I cut off hundreds of millions of dollars off one particular plane. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a short period of time. It wasn't like I spent like weeks, hours, really less than hours, and many, many hundreds of millions of dollars. And the plane's going to be better.
But you do want that 10% short of the military.
I want a balanced budget eventually, but I want to have a strong military. To me, that's much more important than anything.
One of the worst ways, it seems, to spend money is going through the Washington bureaucracy. Every congressman has their pet project. There's been talk about infrastructure. Anywhere the Democrats want $1 trillion.
Right.
I think you talked about $137 billion to start. Is that something you want to pay as you go? Is that something you'd rather...
Look, our country's in bad shape. We've spent $6 trillion in the Middle East. $6 trillion, Sean.
Right.
Okay? How the hell do we do this? It's crazy. And by the way, just so you understand, the Middle East, I don't want to be like, you know, they said the speech can be dark on occasion. Well, we spent $6 trillion. When I was interviewed last night by David Muir, he said, aren't you going to make them angry? I said, angry? How can they be more angry than they are right now? Who are we going to make angry? I thought it was a sort of strange question. But aren't you going to make them angry? I said, they're all angry now. The whole world is angry right now. There's such problems in the world and such anger. But we spent all of this money in the Middle East and other places. In the meantime, we have to rebuild our country. We have to rebuild our infrastructure. Some Republicans are fine with it. Some Republicans don't like it. Actually, probably the Democrats like that more than the Republicans, because that's always been one of the things. But John, our roads, our bridges, our highways, our schools, our country is in bad shape.
Yeah, by the way, I hear your helicopter out there in the background.
It's all right.
You took great pride in meeting with carriers, saving jobs, meeting with Ford, saving jobs. You've met with union
General
people.
Motors,
$7 billion, by the way.
Yeah, we have a lot of plants that are going to be built in Michigan and Ohio and North Carolina and Pennsylvania. and I've only been here for 4 days, but they understand. They understand that if they build a plant outside of the United States, fire all their employees, when that product, whether it's a car or an air conditioner or a washing machine, when that comes through the border, it's going to be heavily taxed. That's the way it is.
But if you want to get rid of 75% of regulations.
Yes, I do.
Or more.
75 or more.
Paul Ryan said
by
a
the way,
20% corporate tax rate. You want a 15%.
By the way, the 75%, and we will have the same amount of protection for the consumer, because that's very important to me. But we'll also be able to create jobs, because right now you can't even start a company in this country.
Right.